Hello, hello. You know what time it is? It's Travel Tuesday. Welcome to the broadcast. And welcome to the replay viewers. If you are a replay viewer, then I want you to put in the comments, replays rock. So thank you for being here today. It's Travel Tuesday. I'm excited. As you can see, I have a live guest with me. We're not on different computers, but we're together. And I will introduce her in a moment. But I want to talk to you about, are you throwing your money away when you travel? And so my question to you is, when you travel, and I want you to put in the comments, when you travel, do you purchase travel insurance? Say yes or no. And if you're a yes or a no, I think you're going to want to stand by or stay tuned so you can find out how you can avoid throwing your money away. And I want to share a story with you about an experience that a client has had, and the client, of course, will remain nameless. But they were planning all year. It was a group of friends. And they've been planning. They planned it a year in advance, and that's what I tell you. You want to do a group trip, we recommend planning a year in advance. They planned a year out, was excited, were making their scheduled payments, and they were ready to go. And a day was it a day? It was about 2 days before they were to leave. One of the friends got into a car accident, and they could not go. And they were rooming with another friend. And because they had insurance, she was able to recoup her investment. And it was not $100, $200, it was thousands of dollars that she paid for her trip. And so she was reimbursed. And so I don't want you to be in that situation where you have invested and you're looking forward to a year and something happens. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We know who holds the future, though. But so I want you to be, and my colleague here, I'm going to introduce her in a minute. We want you to be prepared. So that's the question. Are you throwing your money away? And I want you to put in the comments. Don't feel shy. Say yes when you travel, you purchase insurance, or no if you don't. I want to introduce you to Gwen. And she is a colleague. She's also a travel professional and very knowledgeable. And so I just said, we were together. We're getting ready to go to a travel conference. And I said, we're together. Let's share some of the love and knowledge and encouragement with those people who travel so that you'll be in a better position. So Gwen, introduce yourself.
So hi, everybody. I'm Gwen Correa, and I live in California. So I'm visiting Eva here. And like she said, we're off to another adventure to learn more on travel and how to sell travel and how to make your experience better. But I would like to share some of my experiences with clients that book these fabulous vacations. We design incredible trips for our clients. And then there's an added fee, to cover your investment. And that added fee will be, sometimes it's 5% of the total trip to cover the investment for everyone. And people tend to pause there because, okay, I've just spent maybe $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on my trip. I don't want to pay another $500, $600 for travel insurance. So no, I'll pass. Well, that's fine and good. But what if something happens? So in my case, I had a client who planned their 50th honeymoon anniversary to Paris. And when they got to Paris, they flew all night from the US, got to Paris, got off of the plane, all excited. The husband wasn't watching where he was going, tripped over someone's bag who happened to stop in front of him, and he fell and he broke his hip. So guess what?
Wow.
That ended the anniversary, tragically. And not only that devastation, guess what? They didn't opt for the travel insurance. So when they don't opt for the travel insurance, then the issue is that now you have to get emergency surgery, go to the hospital in Paris, then you have to fly home, you have to change all your plans. Anytime you do any changes, any interruptions, you're now in penalty and you can lose all your money. So again, we go back to the conversation, are you throwing away your money? My personal experience was but as a travel advisor, I certainly cover my trips. I do cover my investment. So I was in Puerto Vallarta with a group of people on a vacation, and I opted to go parasailing. Well, I've parasailed at least 200 or 300 times.
You parasail, Gwen?
I do.
Oh my,
I love it.
she's brave.
Yes. So it's when I'm parasailing, in this particular case, one of those freak accidents, and I fell on landing and I broke my ankle in 3 places. It was a bad break. And they had to medevac me home from Puerto Vallarta to Los Angeles. And then I had to go into emergency. Then at the airport, the ambulance picked me up and whisked me away to my doctor, my hospital, and I had to go to emergency surgery. That would have cost me $30,000 had I not had the insurance to cover it. So for a small investment compared to $30,000, a couple of $100 is not a lot if it saves you $30,000. And like I said, I've traveled on many, many trips, say 50 plus trips, and I've never had to use my travel insurance, but I've always had it.
That's the peace of mind that you get as a result of having, well, let me leave it. Yeah. That's the peace of mind that you get as a result of having it. And that is a great example. Can you imagine, if you think about it, can you imagine if you had to pay the fees that are on the ship, the transportation fees and the surgery fees? Can you imagine if you had to pay that out of pocket? That would just be devastating to most people's budgets. So it's a blessing that you purchased insurance.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's one thing to have mishaps and have things happen. You're already traumatized by that. Then to get that sticker shock of a bill, because everything is very expensive and you're coming from foreign countries a lot of the times, and that's very expensive to transport you or even to change your flight.
That's really good advice. And I've had a client also who was planning a trip. It was a group trip, and got in an accident in the Bahamas. And because he purchased insurance, they were able to get him to a hospital. And there were 2 choices of hospital. There was like a local hospital that the locals went to, and then there was a little bit a higher end hospital in the Bahamas. And he was able to get to the better hospital because he had the insurance, and he was able to get treated. And then as a result of the accident, the ship went on with the cruise, but he could not. But were able to get him on another cruise and get him back home. It wasn't like he had to be airlifted or flown home. But if that was the case, it would have been paid for, no worries. And sometimes we don't think about those things when you travel, and we just really highly recommend travel insurance. And when you do a trip, either through myself or through Gwen, we will offer you travel insurance. And sometimes, the clients will say, no, I don't need that. I'm going. We know that you're going, but you don't know what could happen. And the result of the decision, had you purchased the insurance, you would have less worries.
Right. A lot of my younger clients, Eva, they tell me, "Oh no, I'm healthy, I'm fine."
Mm.
Well, then the case happens where, this is another example with a client. Well, their elderly parents became ill
Mm.
and they needed care, and so my clients had to um, postpone their trip. So they incurred fees because everything nowadays, after final payment is done, or even with these deposits these days, they require a fee if you make any type of change, just like the airlines. So if you make any type of change, you're going to incur a fee.
Mhm.
So they incurred a fee to postpone their trip, to push it back another year so they could go after their parents were well. And had they had the insurance would have covered that expense, any expenses that for the change fees. The insurance would cover it. They would have gotten reimbursed their money. But because they didn't, they were out of pocket. So they ended up, as the title says, throwing away money that they didn't have to pay if they would have been covered. So it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter what state is your health to get insurance. It's just like car insurance. You know, whether you have a brand new car or you have a bucket, as we call them, you get the insurance to cover for just in case. What if? So, what if something happens? Am I going to be okay?
One of the things that when I've traveled when my children were young, I was, young couple, you're on a tight budget and you're like, oh, should I purchase the insurance? But one of my children have some health issues, as asthma.
Mhm.
And I started thinking, what if something happens and he needs to get treatment, or we have to come home, if I had to look at our budget, that wouldn't be affordable. So we purchased the insurance, and thank God we didn't need it. But if something had occurred, it would be there available for us. So we just want you to be safe and save money.
And another thing is when you like Eva said, we do offer insurance to our clients. So it's real important that when the offer comes that you jump on it, because with a lot of the insurance companies, if you purchase it within 10 to 14 days of your deposit date, then it will cover any pre-existing conditions that you may have.
Yep.
And so that's really important.
Right. And I totally agree. That's something to really to think about. And also with some insurances, if you purchase it right at the beginning, if it's canceled for any reason, then you're covered. But if you say, "Oh, let me think about it," and then decide later, you'll have insurance, but you may not have canceled for any reason. And there are different policies and different companies, and that are possibilities for you. But that's just some of the things to think about. And also a lot of times the insurance provides for death in your immediate family. So you could think about it, if you're on a trip and something happens,
God forbid,
then you're able to there's a phone number you can call. They'll help you make the arrangements. Because a lot of times in those situations, and I've had a client, she was on a cruise and her sister passed. You're nervous and you're kind of in shock because it's not something you expect. You have a number to call. The people at the insurance company will, or for most insurance policies or travel policies that we use, they will help you make the arrangements, tell you what you need to do. She was in another country, so there's logistics, especially when you travel out of the country. And there's a person that's going to help you through it, because you purchasing insurance.
Yeah, there's situations. I mean, we can go on and on about some nightmares, but then there's also I've had clients that were covered that had invested, 7,000 plus for a vacation, and then something happened where they couldn't go, but they had purchased the insurance, and I'm happy to say they were reimbursed all of their money, all of their $7,000 plus. So that would have been a travesty for them to lose that amount of money for just a small investment in their travel. So are you throwing away your money because you think you're saving that little, and you don't need it? But you never know. You may not get ill. You may be physically well to go, but you never know if your traveling companions. I just had to cancel a booking for 2 couples that were traveling together for their 70th birthday.
Wow.
And the two wives had known each other since they were 15 years old. Well, one became ill about 4 months before they were due to sail on the cruise, and subsequently she passed away. So both couples started not to get the insurance, but then they decided, okay, we better go ahead and get it. So I'm happy to say that they processed their, the one couple that was traveling with the couple was also able to cancel their plans because they didn't want to sail, while she was ill. And then, like I said, she subsequently passed away. So they really didn't want to go. And they were both able to recoup on their investment.
So if you know somebody who's getting ready to travel, or they have travel plans, and you think they would benefit from the knowledge that we are sharing with you, then we ask you to share the broadcast out and help someone to get this information and be encouraged. And they'll come back and they can say, thank you, this happened and you showed me that and I got the insurance and that was such a blessing. So if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments. We'll be checking back to see if you have questions or things or if you have things that you would like us to talk about or you would like me to talk about in the future. Be sure to put those in the comments. And thank you to the replay viewers. Put replays rock in the comments and let us know that you stopped by. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a group travel event specialist. I help you to have group travel events that are easy. I handle all the logistics, and so that you can relax and enjoy your group travel. And you can go to group.travelwitheva.com and complete the questionnaire, and then set up a complimentary consultation with me at schedule.travelwitheva.com so we can see if we are a good match to work together. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I am also the author of Hosting Group Events in Paradise, The Ultimate Guide. My husband and I don't want to leave him out. Hosting Group Events in Paradise is the ultimate guide for trainers, coaches, business leaders, and it's a book about group travel, and it gives you tips and information if you're interested in doing a group event. And perhaps you want to DIY it. You don't want to use a travel agent, or you want to find out what is the benefits of using a travel professional. Please check that out. You can find it on Amazon.com. And let me show you the name of the book. It's Hosting Group Events in Paradise. So I want to thank Gwen so much for
you're so welcome.
Being on the show today. And thank you so much for taking the time to stop by to Travel Tuesday. I always like to end my broadcast by saying, have a blessed day or evening wherever you are in the world, and do take time to be a blessing to someone else. So bye for now.
Bye-bye.